Alright, so today I decided to make a top 5 units of each rarity, mainly SSR and SR. I was planning on actually putting Rs, but Rs are literally just, if you want to know who are the best ones, they don't really scale because they all have a different purpose. So I was like, eh. The only one that I would really consider to be like actually top tier is maybe Twigo, and it's not even ironic because he boosts HP of red units by 30%. Maybe Leone, because they all have their own thing actually. So I didn't decide to rank the Rs, but the SRs and SSRs, and I decided on 5 because I felt like 5 I could actually explain each position that I decided with. Instead of 10, it would be that I would have to rush it more because or else the video would be too long. With 5 of each rarity, I actually will explain each one individually and talk about what they do. So, starting with SRs, I actually put Gilfunder. Oh yeah, by the way, this is global and currently in the game, right? The list will, even the units itself in the list will probably move around based on how the game will progress, right? Right now on global, with the activities that we have, is how I'm ranking this, okay? Not who's the best of the best, and it is the only answer. It's just who are the most useful right now for more activities, mainly that. But yeah, so the first one and number 5 for SRs, I put Gilfunder. Now Gilfunder is really solid. I was actually okay. Last minute change. I will actually change that. Last minute change. I'm actually gonna change him for Bond. Okay. I'm putting Bond number 5, and Bond is actually really good. I already had it like made up for it. I thought about this for a long time, but now putting it, I actually want to change to Bond because Gilfunder is actually so good. But Bond's really solid, and it's one of the reasons why I actually recommended people to level him up for story mode. On story mode, Bond is so useful because of this card, depletes one ultimate move. A lot of bosses in story are super hard because they do so much damage, right? If you take off his ult, not only they're gonna lose that one turn of the ultimate, right? They're gonna have to get the ultimate the next turn. They lose a move. Especially for single bosses, right? They have like 3 moves in a turn. Well, if you take off his ultimate, now that turn he only does 2 attacks instead of 3, and that's actually so good as well. And also, he himself is a pretty solid unit with the lifesteal, and this card is actually pretty decent, and it's so easy to get him to 6/6 because it's also summonable. If you summon a little bit, you might pull some dupes, and so his ultimate will hit pretty hard. So he's a very solid unit. Now moving on to the SSRs, the number 5 SSR I have is actually Blue DM. Now, I was thinking of putting Green King in here, but I decided with Blue DM just because the Grey Demon just came out, and I thought, King is actually more useful. But DM is very solid. He's one of the coin shop units. She's also a story unit. You get her for free, and she attacks seals and has an AOE attack. If her AOE attack did more damage, I would put her up. But it's just that her AoE attack, even though it's good because it's an AoE attack, so you can use her for farming, it just doesn't do that much damage. But other than that, she's like really good. She's very solid for PvP because her ultimate deals so much damage. 525 it doesn't seem like much, but because of her passive of increasing her own attack by 6% for each turn, if you can stall a little bit and get her ultimate, she's gonna hit super hard, and combined with Blue King in a team, if you can get both ult in one turn, that's a guaranteed team wipe. So this DN is very, very solid, very, very good, and it's just very decent for story because of the attack ceiling as well. So that's why I actually put her number 5. For the SRs, number 4 is like I said, it was gonna be number 5, but I did bump him up. Is Green Gilfunder. Green Gilfunder is really good. Not only he now, with the release of Grey Demon, is very useful because he's a booster. He's also good in PvP. You can see by the chart here. He's a super solid unit. His attack card doesn't do much, but you know, it's alright. He's a support unit. Support units are always good. It's the reason why I preach that Red Gopher, which is not on global yet, but will be very soon. Red Gopher is the best unit in the game on JP because he is the best support unit in the game, and that just support units go everywhere as long as you can put them. His ultimate hits really hard for the Grey Demon as well, which is really good, but his passive also works in PvP, so he's a unit that works in raids. He is used in both Crimson and Grey Demon, still on JP, right? But he's also good in PvP because if you put it in the 4th slot, he's increasing the defense warrior stats in PvP, which 30% extra resistance is really good. It's very, very good. So he's a very solid unit just overall, and he's a very relevant unit to this day on JP. I would say if we're making a metric for JP, I would put him number 1. But because it's for global and using the activities right now based on global and what's the priorities for people on global right now, I have to put him in number 4. But if I was gonna make this for JP, I would put him number 1. Probably number 1 best SR in the game. But yeah, going to number 4 SSR, I have Green King. With the release of the Grey Demon, Green King has become very, very relevant. Because if you want to do the Grey Demon on Extreme, and I know a lot of people are probably not going to be able to do it for a while, but if you really need to do the Grey Demon, or want to do the Grey Demon on Extreme, you need King. And it's good to do raids on Extreme because you do get more, not only a better chance of getting the double wing, right, the double raid item, but also the chalice and the gold. The gold adds up, dude. If you every time you do Extreme, you get some gold. That adds up in the future. It's a reason why I actually been moving from doing Extreme to doing Hell. If you don't know, the Hell is not on global yet, but Hell gives you 3 guaranteed UR chests if you do get gold, right? It gives 3 UR chests instead of Extreme that gives you 2 SSR chests, I think. So it's much more gold. It's so much better. But his card does increase damage on crits, and he pretty much guarantees crits if he has like a pretty good amount of ult gauge. And that's pretty much all he does, but he's like the best unit for the Grey Demon. Even when Escanor comes out, or another good green unit like Estarossa, they are still not as good as King for the Grey Demon. And the Grey Demon is something that you might do like every day, you know, or maybe every other day. So it's just, you know, a unit that you need pretty much. So that's why I put him in number 4. Moving on to the SRs, I put Red Alleyhawk. Red Alleyhawk, she only has one purpose. Really, she only has one purpose, but for the one purpose that she has, she's the best, which is Red Demon. I would say right now it's better to use her over Slater in the Red Demon, just because you just throw her in the team and she keeps ramping up her damage more and more and more, and she ends up being stronger than Slater eventually. And she's so good because her passive is that she increases the basic stats by 10% at the start of the next turn if she doesn't take any damage. And that's so good, because in the Red Demon, you don't take damage. You keep petrifying or freezing him, and you just don't take any damage, you don't get attacked. So she just keeps ramping up her attack and more and more and more and more, to the point where there is a clip on Twitter I saw of this guy I follow, that he went to a stage where he didn't have to attack anyone, and whenever they attacked him, she wouldn't take damage because her defense was so high compared to the enemy, right? He was such low level. He stalled for 3,100 turns, and she did 99 million damage. So it's like, yeah, her passive can be wild. On the Red Demon, of course, you're never gonna see that, but her passive can be wild. So yeah, very good unit. Her ult hits really hard, especially because if you really stack up her passive and the ultimate, she hits really, really hard. But yeah, she only has one usage, Red Demon, but again, just like the Grey Demon that I just said, and that's why I actually put King in the top 5 best units for the global version, you're gonna do Red Demon every other day, or maybe every day. So it's good to just have a unit that it works for, you know? So that's why I put her there. And then moving on to the SSRs, I actually have Green Jericho. If I find her, I actually have, no idea. No idea. Green Jericho. Green Jericho, till this day, is still an insane nuker on JP. And she is, and will be, the hardest hitting unit on global for a while. I'm talking until Red Derriere comes out on global, which, even if they pick up the pace, right? Because we're speculating the global is going to pick up the pace and try to sync up with JP eventually. Even if they pick up the pace, Derriere should not come out in like at least 5 months. Like, at least. I'm saying she can take like 7 months, but at least 5 months, Jericho will remain the queen of damage on global. The only reason why she's so good is because of her ultimate that does increased critical damage times 2. and her passive increases her crit chance by 10% each time she attacks, and she has a pretty high crit damage base anyways. So she keeps ramping up her crit chance, and then she guarantees crit on her ultimate. Also, this card, Weak Point, triples damage if the enemy is debuffed, and she herself provides debuffs as well. So if she keeps ramping up the crit chance, these cards are always critting, and they're always doing the triple damage, and it just gets crazy. She does like insane damage. Her only bad thing, and it's the bad thing with Jericho Units, that balances them, because she does like insane damage. She would be unbalanced if she was like only damage and also tanked, right? So she has awful resistance, 0% resistance, awful defense, like really low defense. So she doesn't tank at all. She takes so much damage. That's the only issue with Jericho cards, but she hits the hardest in the game. And Guild Boss is coming out. Like, they already released guilds on Global, and Guild Boss is coming out, and she's the best unit for Guild Boss. The combination of Gopher, which is not on Global yet, but it will be her soon, Jericho, Helbram, and Merlin, or Gustav, is still the highest, the best for Guild Boss. I think it's not anymore. Probably Derriere is better on JP, but it almost is there. So, really good unit. Top 3. And she's the coin shop. You can easily, okay, I say easily, but you can eventually 6 out of 6 her ultimate, because she's in the coin shop and you can buy her dupes, which is also really, really good for her. It wasn't on JP for a while, but Global, they got that quality of life update day 1, which is actually really, really nice. Jericho is a really good unit. Now, moving in to number 2 best SR, in my opinion, is Gustav. Gustav, my boy. Gustav, just like Ellie Hawk, they only have really one purpose, but Gustav still is a little better, just because not only Gustav is what makes the Red Demon easy, or I guess it's a combination of things, right? But he can freeze the Red Demon at the end, and he never attacks. And again, just like I said, with Ellie Hawk and with Green King, you're doing the demon every day or every other day, so you might as well just have a unit that really makes it easy, right? But not only that, the new unit that just came out on Global, Red Merlin, and yes, I did not include her in the list, but the new unit that just came out on Global literally does the same things as him, and they are both really solid. The damage thing with their freeze is really good and will prove to be very, very useful in later activities in the game. Like any activity that has leaderboards, the freeze ability is huge. So gotta keep an eye out for these activities. Freezing is such a busted ability. Petrify is also busted, but freeze, because of the whole it only takes like a level 1 to actually freeze, right? Well, Petrify cards need a level 2, and then if you have a level 2 freeze or 3, it does increase damage. Like, freeze is such a broken card. It is kind of unbalanced when you really think about it, but I guess because a lot of bosses, they cleanse them just by existing, right? Really can't be frozen. I guess it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a broken card nonetheless. So Gustav, I put number 2 best SR in the game currently on Global, and that's where I feel like it should be. But now for the second best SSR is Counter Meliodas. Counter Meliodas, do I even have to explain? Do I even have to explain why Counter Meliodas is good? Literally the man that's carrying you on story. If you don't have him, you're using a friend, because the counter card is so goddamn good. His whole thing is that the least health he has, or the more damage he takes, rather, the more damage he takes, the more damage he does back as a counter. And that's so good, because on story mode, a lot of these like single just one boss stages, they do a lot of damage to you, and then if you just do a burst of damage, like straight up, just a burst of damage at once to them, they just die. So then you beat the stage, it's all good, you just move on to the next stage, and he's just so useful. Story mode is most of the focus right now on Global, that's why I have him ranked so goddamn high. Because like right now in JP, right, we have a lot of things going on, so story mode is not that big of a focus, but Counter Melee is still really good on story mode on JP. But now on Global, it's like Chapter 6 just came out, and then after this we're getting Chapter 7, which he's still gonna be like the best story mode unit, and then he's gonna continue to be like super good, super like solid for all the story chapters coming forward. So Really, really good right now on global number 2, and he's really solid in PvP as well. Didn't mention about Jericho in PvP, but she's also really good. It's just because I don't have much experience with her, I didn't talk much about her on PvP, but she is also really good. My buddies that have been like grinding global, they told me that they have been using Jericho on PvP and she's working fine. Just because on JP, when I did catch JP, she wasn't meta already, but on global right now she kind of is, because of the whole, every single enemy that you face right now on global is a bot pretty much, and because they won't really focus on Jericho. Jericho has the issue where I just said, right? She doesn't tank very much, so it's an issue on PvP, but because bots don't really think too hard on their play, you can just destroy them with Jericho because she does so much damage. But yeah, even though I was already talking about Meliodas, I came back to Jericho, but Meliodas is really good. I don't think I need to explain much, he's just, everyone's using him, he's just so good. Still, again, solid to this day on JP. So, now to the best SR, and this was actually pretty hard for me to do, because I found multiple times of putting her below Gustav, but I have to give it to SR Elizabeth. Now, a lot of people are gonna be like, what? Elizabeth? Man, she is so stupid. And ignore everything right here. Ignore everything, ignore this. Ignore everything here. Just look at this. Allies are healed for 10% of max HP at the start of the next turn when taking damage. This passive is the most stupidest thing ever. Like, so many activities still on JP, like Super Boss on JP, which is one of the hardest activities in the game. If you don't use Elizabeth, a lot of the Super Bosses, 3 of the 4 that we had, you're pretty much not gonna beat it. Like, it's so stupid to just heal 10% of your max HP every turn. Because, let's be real, most times you do take damage of all your units, right? And the units that don't take damage, I guess they don't need to heal the 10%, so the extra healing is just so stupid. And combined with having another healer in the game, or in the team rather, it's just so good. So this SR Elizabeth is why I actually put her number 1, and she's really good for story. Every single chapter that I've been doing on story on global, I use her as a 4th slot because the healing is just so stupid. It's just so goddamn good. That's why I put her number 1. Again, a lot of usage for Gil Thunder and Gustav, I would say, surpass how good Elizabeth is, but that's more down the line. Again, if this was for a JP list, I would 100% put Gil Thunder in the first slot, right? I'll put Gil Thunder as number 1 best SR, but because of the priorities now Global has, I do think that this would be fitting, but again, this is my opinion. So, number 1 is SSR. If you don't know by now, if you haven't guessed by now, it's Blue King. Still a top 5 best unit on GP, by the way. My man is so good. So good. Petrify is stupid, and then this healing card is stupid. And that's all you need. Like, literally, he's a support unit. And he's still the best unit in the game. It's hard to really explain why he's so good, but he just is. He's top tier for PvP. He's top tier for story, and that's all you need right now. Like, especially top tier for PvP, because you want to grind those ranks and you want to get to the top, right? You want to get those 50 gems a week, 60 gems a week possibly. So PvP is very important, and King is a top tier unit for PvP, the best PvP unit in the game right now on global. And again, just like I said, on JP, he is still top 5 best unit in the game. I use him on my team on JP. My team on JP is Gopher, King, Estarossa, and I use Green Merlin in the back. So King is the biggest damage dealer because his ultimate ignores resistance. And I said with Gil Thunder, him boosting 30% resistance is really good. King ignoring resistance is really good because resistance acts as damage reduction. So ignoring damage reduction of the enemies is really, really solid. Now, if you get him with high ult level like I have, I myself am proud of having at 6/6, the damage just start ramping up, and you combine him with the end of the combo, and he does super insane damage on his ultimate, and then he also heals. Like, this number that they throw in the card is just a lie. It's a complete lie, because you see King fully healing with level 3. Like, if the ally can have like 10% of their HP, he uses a level 3 card for healing, and he fully heals the unit. Like, he's just so stupid. And Petrify is stupid as well. So, King is the best unit in the game, right now on global. Until Gopher comes out, then Gopher is the best unit. But nonetheless, right now, this is my list. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, that's it. I think the video is done.